draw your attention to the HOKA Summer Miles backdrop. These are the boys milers in the Big River Running Company High School Missouri Mile. Our pacer tonight, Joe Snyder.
So introductions for our boys Missouri Mile. Joe Snyder will be our pacer. He'll be going 62 seconds for 400 meters. This is Wade Patton of Parkway West. Lucas Amador of Parkway Central. Then Jack McGovern of Rockhurst. Just a freshman. Loves those guys, real freshman. Amador. Corbin Cole of Webster Grove. Will Doyle from Fort Zumwalt. Nathaniel Wright of Herculaneum. Wyatt Caliber of El Dorado Springs. Todd Yeats representing Liberty. It's Jackson Miller from the hometown St. Louis University High School. Sinri Mendoza of Hollister. Carson Dreimeyer of Festus. Aiden Taylor of Liberty. This will be Thomas Garrett of Park Hill South.
I'm interested to see how the home school, you had mentioned that, you know, it's significant when you can have bragging rights to be, you know, the Missouri Mile champion, even though there are in the championship and elite races better milers. But in this particular situation, we have somebody from St. Louis University that's running on their home track, just a 10th grader, Jackson Miller. That'd be interesting to see if he can somehow conjure a home field advantage here. Be interesting to see.
Gabriel Volker, the Missouri Class 5 state champion in the 3200 and then fourth in the 1600. They just had their Missouri state championships last week, Tom, so a lot of these guys have already seen each other. This is Alex Badana, also an athlete here at St. Louis University High School, second in the 3200 and third in the 16 at the Missouri Class 5 state meet. But as I said, you know, it was just less than a week ago that these athletes saw each other at their respective state championship race. So a lot is on their mind, and, you know, some of them, you know, they're hungry for maybe like kind of a revenge race, if that's the way to put it. But, you know, now it's really kind of at this point, as you said, championship race. It doesn't matter about the time. It's just whether best strategically ran race gets you the job done.
Yes, California had their state high school championship last week, and we're going to see, of course, the first, second, and third place finishers from that women's race, or from that girls' race here tonight. It is a little bit interesting to see how they'll approach this race, having run that state meet just a few days ago. I mean, 5 days ago. That's quite a turnaround. How do you know, the question is, how do you prepare for two big races like that within a span of a week? We're going to find out right now.
We'll see who has, as you said, the better approach and how they prepared themselves and whether in their peak shape right now. And right to the front is our pacer, which was kind of what we didn't see in the girls' Missouri Mile. And
right,
you know, Joe Schneider kind of set the tone here early on, and he's prescribed to run 62 seconds per 400 meters. And these boys are going right with him.
Yes, and amplifying on your point, these can be revenge races for guys that were a little bit disappointed with how they performed in the state meet. You know, we saw that at the NCAA level. Guys that won their conferences performing poorly at the West Regionals or East Regionals, and then vice versa. In a micro way, this is the same type of situation where if you'd made a mistake at the state meet, this is your opportunity to get back on the throne here.
Coming up now in the first lap, and right around that 62 seconds, Alex Badania of St. Louis University High School. You know, he's got to have a lot of presence here with a lot of his teammates watching right here on the home track, and he's got to defend home turf. I think that's the ultimate goal, is tell people that this is my track and no one else can run with me on it.
I think it's got to be something that's very, very foremost in his mind. It's like defending home court. It's like Oklahoma City and Indiana. Oklahoma City, you want to hold your home court. Well, it's no different in running. This is my home track, and I want to win on my home track.
And he's holding his own so far on his own track. Bendana just right behind our pacer. Maybe about a 5 meter lead. That's Volver right behind him in second, followed by Mendoza. And then Garrett now moves on to the outside, and it's right back up to Bendana. They're 2:05.76 through 880 yards, 62.93. So pretty even pacing so far as we've gone through the halfway point.
Yeah, I really like it. 62.8, 62.9. Very, very nice. And it looks like Bendana and Garrett are kind of pulling away from everybody else. Garrett certainly has really nice mechanics, very, very smooth.
Our pacer now takes a step to the right. Now the real racing begins now between Bendana and Garrett. Mano y mano, if you will, and our third place runner now caught in the middle.
And then at the end, you can make it real short, but I'll be like, what you know about the Toad life? And you can say, I bought a single one.
Bendana, Garrett, and Mendoza. Now at the bell lap they go. Another, it's like 63 seconds, 3:08.81 for Bendana. And lots at stake here. Again, you're running on your home track. You got all of your classmates here probably watching you.
And
now
here comes
at this
Mendoza. Here comes
Yes,
Mendoza.
Mendoza
And
now
Mendoza,
makes the move onto
just like
the
he's-
outside.
Like on a slingshot, Mendoza went by. And he doesn't look like he's troubled at all. He looks full of run. Let's see if he can hold off Garrett.
Mendoza goes. Garrett tries to respond. And perhaps it was the right move by Mendoza, the right timing too, as he begins to pull away. The gap isn't closing. Final straightaway now for Mendoza of Hollister. Missouri Class 3 state champion in the 1600 is the Missouri Mile champion here at Festival of Miles.
What a well strategically performed race by Sinri Mendoza. Look at these splits, 63, 63, 63, and then he throws out a 59.2 to lay waste to the field in that last lap. His last lap, 2 seconds, or a second faster, over a second faster than anybody else. And look at him, he doesn't look fatigued at all. This thing was a piece of cake for Sinri Mendoza, an excellent strategic race for him.
There was a plan. He had a plan.
There
and
was.
He executed it.
There was, exactly. Look at where Mendoza is right now. You might have thought, well, this gap is pretty big for him to have to tackle. And then look at him go. He made that move right there, right where that replay was, and then bada bing, bada bang. It is over. Look at the turnover here. Look at how quickly he's putting him up and laying him down. Very nice performance.
4:09.36, which, if we're going to go also to a 1600 conversion, he ran 4:13.30 for his personal best in the 1600. Or excuse me, 4:13.42, just about annihilated that time here in this full mile.
Yeah, I mean, this is equivalent to what? About a 4:10.9 or so, right? About a 4:10.9, maybe 4:11 equivalent for a 1600. Excuse me, it would be the other direction. Sorry, about a 4:08 or 4:07.6. I'm terrible at math, as you can tell, but about a 4:07.5 or 4:07.4 for 1600. Is that right,
Hey,
Keenan? Do I have that right?
Let's actually head back to Minnesota and check in with Billy Saveco, who's at the TC Running Company right now, as we have our awards for our Missouri Mile.
Yo, what's up, Billy Saveco? This is not St. Louis. We're in the Blazes, are we? Minnesota. We're at my boy Jace Harder. Where are we at right now?
We're at TC Running, Eden Prairie. we're here celebrating Festival of Miles, and you know, we're out here just having some fun.
One of my favorite nights of the year, because this race is incredible, super fast, bunch of fast miles. Speaking of that, what do you think is going to happen? How many kids do you think will run sub 4 on the boys' side today?
All right, so I think it's going to be at least, I think 10. I think 10, maybe a little bit over if I'm feeling good, but I think 10. I think 10.
I think the last seed is a 4:03, which is incredible.
Yeah, they gotta be at least 10. There's gotta be a lot of PRs going out there. I'll say that.
I'm going with 3 or 4. 3 or 4 from my side. Speaking
All
of that, do you think someone from the B section? We were talking with some of my friends. I think there's kids that run 3:04, 3:03 in the B heat. Do you think someone will break 4 from the B heat today?
I think there would be a 3:59.
Incredible. Last thing is, who do you think is going to win? Call the winner and the time, and then we're sending it back.
All right, Owen Powell. We're going 3:56.
56. I got Josiah Totson, 3:56. Sending it back to Missouri for the fastest mile in the country. Let's get it.
And we'll head down to the infield with Tyler Day with our Missouri Mile men's winner, which is Cinry Mendoza, winning in 4:09:36.
4:09 mile on Missouri soil. First off, what strength were you able to muster in the last 300 for you to get in front?
If I'm honest, this may sound kind of dumb, but I didn't know we only had one more lap left. I thought we had 2 more. That's why I wasn't up there with them. But then I realized, I heard that bell, and then I just started kicking it. I was like, oh shoot, I gotta go, and that's kind of why that happened.
For now on, are you going to purposely mistake laps now?
Nah, I'm gonna say this: I could have probably ran faster than 4:09, definitely, if I would have known that that there was only one more to go. But that's how it happened.
And how special does this win mean after, you know, running 4:09 in front of the home fans here at Festival of Miles?
First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without Him, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this that I'm doing right now. And it feels amazing. I have my dad here cheering on me all the way. We traveled 4 hours to get here, and it just feels amazing. It feels good.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champion for the Missouri Boys Mile, Cinry Mendoza.
Well, Mendoza certainly came to play, and I hate to play spoiler, or I guess ruin the guy that picked Owen Powell to win the mile race in the boys' championship, but Owen Powell's not going to be racing here tonight. But Josiah Tossenson definitely is.
Yes, and a fellow Northwesterner, I could say, along with Tavon Kitchen, Josiah Tostenson. I think certainly those 2 Crater kids have really turned the sport on its ear for such a small town in Oregon to have 2 sub-4-minute milers.